Just gonna take this edge off. Check it out. I would say that's good to go. Clean that up a little bit more. Not a very good edge, so I think we're good to go and on our way. I think I'm going to start really quick with this Shafton stone. It's a 120 grit, just so I can kind of get that bevel set pretty quick. On a knife you're maintaining regularly, I don't think you have to worry so much about setting the bevel, but when you got people like me that destroy the edge with a file, I think setting the bevel would be appropriate. This one doesn't have too bad of a bevel on it, but a lot of times what I try to do is keep it a little bit more, I don't know, perpendicular to the stone. As opposed to a 45, I'll take it and I'll just make it where it's perpendicular. And I work the bevel this way. I've noticed it's helped me set the bevel a little bit quicker and more evenly. It's easier for me to get it done this way because it's more of a straight grind with the profile of the blade. You just kind of follow that as the blade curves. You don't have to go much depending on what knife you're sharpening, but somewhat more pronounced bellies you'll have to turn more to kind of fit it. Like this one's not so bad, it's just a slight little curve, but I just do that for setting the bevel. I found for me personally, this is a more efficient way to get a nice, consistent bevel all the way down before I head into sharpening and honing. I like to make sure my bevel's the same distance or the same width all the way down the edge, but still needs more in the front. It's getting pretty good. It still needs a little bit more. Not a lot of pressure, just enough to keep the blade flat. From what I've learned in sharpening is if you got a good bevel, nice and flat on the cut, it sharpens up with almost no effort. It's just really helps getting a nice consistent bevel. Get it as good as you can. That is looking pretty good. Could use a little bit more. Switch up to the 45. One thing to do too is, say if you have a spot that needs a little bit more work, everywhere else looks great, stop and work in that one spot only. When I first started sharpening, I had a tendency to start in a spot and then I'd do just about the same amount of work up and down the blade, create, you know, just kind of continuing the problem up until I realized it's kind of better just to hit that spot and then blend it in as soon as you get it where you're satisfied. That. That looks really good. Time for side 2. I guess we could do it this way. It's really important to keep your angle all the way through to get that bevel straight and flat. Let's check it out. That is looking good. Not a lot of pressure, but just enough to keep it flat. Let's get in there. good. I think it needs a little more. Okay, let's move on to the sharpening stone. And today, I'll be using the 90-watt professional stone. This is one of my favorite stones to use to sharpen. I think between this one and the Shafton 1000, or the Safira 1000 actually, it's two of my favorite. Really nice cutting, leaves a great finish for an 800. Quick working, that's for sure. Lots of good feedback. Overall, just a great stone. I really do love it, actually. Really excited to see what this Rika 5000 does. I've heard a lot of good things about her over the years, but I've never actually used it. I still haven't, but I will be after this stone. So, you know. Looking great. No complaints about this stone whatsoever. I've been using this 90-watt 800 for, not this particular, maybe the biggest stone, but 90-watt 800 at least 5 years now. Don't have any complaints. Let's try the other side. Still a little bit of chips on the edge from that file, so I'm gonna have to keep going on this a little bit. One thing I don't recommend is taking up oil to your blades. Such a nice cutting stone. Do some stropping. All right, let's check this again. Again, the hardest part really is setting the bevel and sharpening it. I mean, sharpening it's not too bad, it's easy. In my opinion, setting the bevel requires the most work and it all requires concentration. But when you have a bad bevel, uneven, it makes sharpening a lot more of a hassle, I've noticed. Yeah, see, we got those micro pits, so it's cutting really nice and smooth. Setting the bevel, yes, to me, takes the most time because you're actually setting the foundation for actually sharpening it. The sharpening process is very easy because all you're doing is basically keeping that angle all the way through, you know, from the stone, whatever angle you like to sharpen your blades at, is maintaining that all the way through the push. See, that's with an 800 grit too, and that's a really nice sharp edge. Oops, a little sloppy towards the end there. But now, I get to use the Rika 5000 for the first time. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but I've never used it before. But this guy here, I did have soaking for about 20 minutes, so it is a soaker. And I'm actually very excited. I don't really think it needs this, but I've noticed on a lot of the newer stones, takes a couple sharpenings to get its real potential out of it. But this one feels like it's got, for a 5,000, I mean, it feels like an 800. As a matter of fact, it's not too smooth like the Naniwa Chosera 3000. That guy feels really smooth, but this one feels porous. You know, for a 5,000, it's kind of surprising. That's the Hero 6000 that I use, and that one is almost as smooth as marble, but not this guy. I heard a lot of great things about it, and I'm very excited, as I said. Can't tell right now, but I'm very, very happy. Well, here we go. Ooh, already starting to get a burr. Oh, wow. I'll tell you what, I'm already impressed with that. It's only been 2 passes. Wow, unbelievable. But when you have a good bevel, you set the good bevel, and you get a nice sharpening on there, initial sharpening, this honing process, which I'm doing now. It's just, it's almost effortless. You know, no pressure. All you're basically doing is holding the knife in place, keeping the angle. And this stone is just amazing. It's doing the rest. But I am honestly impressed with the bevel that it's already created all the way down the edge. I mean, literally effortlessly. I'm very, very impressed with the stone. And again, this is my first time using it, so I wasn't expecting this. And you hear a lot of good things on videos and see it in action, but until you get your hands on it and you use it, only doubts I might have ever had are just gone. Because the Hero 6000 that I use is impressive. Feedback. But this Rika, like I said, anyone who's been sharpening for a while has heard of this stone at least. But this is my first time with it, and I gotta say, I'm very happy with it. Already got a bevel on it, or a burr on it too. It needs a little bit more. I really can't believe how nice this thing works. It was just, it's so little passes. It's like a hot knife through butter. That thing is beautiful. Unbelievable. This is a great stone. For a honing stone or finishing stone, whatever you want to call it, I am absolutely impressed with it. Let's just do some light stroking. Wow. The feedback is great. A lot of these honing stones are so smooth you can't really feel if it's doing anything, but this one lets you know that it's working. At the same time, I mean, it's like it's cutting fast, but it's not gouging by any means. It feels porous, but it's not grinding by any means. It's not digging into the steel. It's giving it a nice little polish. Not too much of a mirror-like finish, but still a nice polish. But it's what it does to the edge. If you can only feel that. I mean, it looks nice on camera, but if you can only feel how smooth that is. A Rika 5000. I would like to say it's almost better than the Shirogami 6000 grit I've been using. It's just incredible. It almost feels like it works too fast, so I'm already finished. Most of the work, like I said, is going to be in setting your bevel. It's got to be consistent and flat. And if you could do that, when you get to where you can do that, sharpening is a breeze. And the sharpening, setting the bevel, I mean, you're setting the width and the flatness of the actual bevel, width, and then how flat it is across, and that sets your bevel. And you get the sharpening stone, you kind of fine tune it and adjust it. But this honing stone, this Shirogami Rika 5000, takes it to a whole nother level. If you have knives at home that you want to take care of, you want a stone that's worth the money, it gives you more than, I think it's more than a bargain. I did not expect it to be this nice and smooth. I mean, but that's, and it's, this stone is, wow. That's all I could say. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.